So today, at the Madlanga Commission, IDAC got exposed badly. It all started with one question. Where did Fadiel Adams get his information on General Mkhwanazi's security clearance? His own affidavit says it. Documents shoved under his office door. Not lawfully obtained, just shoved under a door. But here's the killer part. If that makes Mkhwanazi a risk, logic says the same applies to Adams, a man holding classified crime intelligence documents he was never authorized to have. So why hasn't he been arrested too? Nobody had an answer. Then commissioners went looking for the missing document, FA1, the one that supposedly proves all of this. And the only man who has it, Perumal, suddenly hospitalized. Discharged the next day. Nobody can reach him. Please like this video right now. The gavel's about to drop, and so is the truth. Welcome to Mr. Justice Updates.
Your code of conduct says something about you examining or satisfying yourself about whether evidence was lawfully obtained or material that is potentially going to be used as evidence was obtained lawfully or not. It says that. Now, we know in this affidavit, and your code says that, I think you must be familiar with it. If you want to check, you can look at D2, G, and then I think, rather H, in fact. And then if you want, you can look at I, but you're familiar with this. Now, in this affidavit, Mr. Adams says that this information about General Madondo, he knows it from the documents that were pushed under his door in Parliament. And you remember we had this conversation last week about crime intelligence information having clearly been obtained, not lawfully given. Did you, when you see an affidavit that says this, or when you get a briefing, because you must have been given a briefing, I expect you would have asked the question, how do we know this? Where did we get this information about the vetting of General Madondo? And you would have been told, what were you told about it? How this information was obtained?
According to the feedback, the information was obtained, Commissioner Baloyi, through the Section 28 subpoena processes that followed after the 6th January engagements with Mr. Adams. Okay. So documents were subpoenaed and they would have been provided.
Well, in his affidavit, he tells you, or he tells Mr. Perumal, how he received this information, the very affidavit you're looking at, and he says, I attach here 2 documents which were pushed under my door, my office door at Parliament, and which relate to Madondo's application. Now, it doesn't call her General, so I'm reading, it's not me being disrespectful to General Madondo, which relate to Madondo's application for security clearance marked FA. So Mr. Perumal, or Chief Perumal, knows from this that he's now receiving and looking at information that was not lawfully obtained, and that Mr. Adams is not entitled to have access to and to have sight of. And so my question to you is, was that inquiry that your code of conduct says you must satisfy yourself whether that evidence was lawfully obtained, was that done in this case, or you were all just happy to get the information and then carry on because it takes you down a particular path of inquiry?
No, Commissioner Baloyi. I hadn't gone through the details of all his A1s, but I do see here where reference is marked to FA1. I have not seen FA1. In fact, when we were conferring, I was saying, am I missing something? Where's the FA1 that ought to have been here. If in fact FA1 was provided to Mr. Perumal, then we have to determine what that FA1 was. And if it is a classified document, then that is a problem. That should be dealt with. I haven't seen FA1 at all.
Yeah, let's assume that FA1 is exactly what Mr. Adams says it is. He says it relates information or a document that relates to Madondo's application for security clearance. Let's assume that for purposes, because that's what he tells us. Let's assume it's that and it was attached. You say it's a problem, it should be dealt with. What is a problem about it? What is a problem that you say it is a problem, and when you say it should be dealt with, what does that mean?
So, if the document is in fact a classified document, there are two things. One, Mr. Adams should not have been in possession of the classified document. If it isn't a classified document, we all agree that that isn't a challenge. If it is is it not a challenge though, even if it's not a classified document, it's crime intelligence information. He didn't get it lawfully. It contains the personal information of a person, and he's telling your investigator, your chief investigator, that this was not given to me by General Madondo. It was under my door.
It was put under my door, so we know he didn't get it properly. Yes, so it seems to me it really doesn't matter. It may have different consequences in terms of the extremity of the consequences of it, but it remains a problem, even if it's not classified, no?
Correct.
Yes.
And so steps should be taken.
Yes.
For the handling of a document.
And those steps would be, those steps would be against Mr. Adams. For being in possession of crime intelligence documents that are
classified or unclassified.
That are not in the public domain.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
I want to ask you, Advocate Sello. Advocate Johnson, these affidavits, how does IDAC ensure that the affidavits are independent of IDAC's investigators? It bothers me that it is IDAC that goes to the complainant purportedly to obtain a statement. And then the same IDAC investigator commissions that statement. How does IDAC ensure that that is in fact the witness's statement and it is not the work of the investigator? In other words, the investigator does not draft a statement for a complainant because we know the starting point is your 27 is deficient. It does not have enough information to enable IDAC to commence an investigation. Or it doesn't even bring what you are saying within IDAC's jurisdiction. Now, IDAC says this is not enough, I want something more. And the very investigator that goes back to the complainant now commissions the same affidavit. How does IDAC ensure that the investigator does not push that agenda to ensure that the follow-up affidavits now contain the information that will clothe IDAC with jurisdiction it did not have when the complaint first came in? I mean, is it not more appropriate to say, your statement is not enough, go make a statement that deals with these issues, have it commissioned, and then give it to IDAC, instead of IDAC being the one that solicits the affidavit and commissions the very affidavit it has solicited?
So, if I can start one step back. Ordinarily, Commissioner Khumalo, and I know that this is within your remit and knowledge, when investigators, and it's not just IDAC, or whether it is the detectives, including DPCI, they go and take statements of the witness, and they commission the statement. The check and balance that we have sought within all of the law enforcement fields over the years is to ensure that it's not one investigator going down to take a statement. In this instance, it was the prosecutor, Advocate Ramsamy, who was supposed to have been present, together with Mr. Mansa and Mr. Perumal. So much so that it must be an engagement with the witness, and as the witness talks to the issues, they are noted. And then the statement is drafted. It has to be read back to the witness, and when the witness agrees, the statement is signed and commissioned.
That's what happened in this case.
In this case, that is why there were the three of them. And that is the practice. I'm unfortunately not.
Is it to avoid the very issue that I'm raising, that it cannot be the same investigator going to a witness and saying, do a statement for me and I will commission it for you?
Correct.
Especially in circumstances where even the original Section 27 was solicited by the same investigator. It's different from a police case where a complainant would come to a police station and would lay a complaint or make a statement. Then the investigating officer would do follow-ups. Here, the original statement is solicited by the same person who commissions the follow-up statements.
I hear you, Commissioner. I can't take it further than the point I made about why there's more than one person who goes.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of perhaps advice and recommendation, it should be stipulated that it is preferable that that kind of engagement not happen and it be an independent investigator.
And I'm not suggesting that this is what happened here.
I understand.
But you can see the danger of an investigator who doesn't like a Sandile Khumalo finding a complainant and say, you know, we're going after Khumalo, so make a statement along the lines of Section 27. I will commission it for you. And on the basis of the very statement, I will then commence an investigation against, you know, the person that I don't like.
I take Commissioner's point.
Thank you, Commissioners. Yes, Commissioner.
Just to clarify names, you have more than once referred to Mr. Manta. Is that the same person as Mr. Rapesu?
Rapesu.
It's the same person. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Commissioner. I thought it was yet another person. I had him down as Mr. Manta. Oh, okay, clarified. Staying with 3479.
Sorry, 34?
Staying with page 3479. This is regarding General Madondo. And following on your engagement with Commissioner Baloyi, I'm at paragraph 3. We know the complaint is that she got this lateral transfer without a top secret clearance certificate. At paragraph 3 states, Madondo poses a risk to CI, the subs and the country. I'll skip the next sentence. The last one, I don't understand how a senior officer who cannot be trusted is able to access and be in possession of intelligence reports and documents. Now, on the basis of these allegations and subsequent investigations, then IDAC has charged General Madondo in terms of CAS 453/06/25, correct?
Correct.
Why? I take it Mr. Adams is also being charged. What's good for the goose must be good for the gander. If General Madondo not having that clearance certificate poses a risk to CI, the subs and the country, I dare say so too is Mr. Adams. You agree that he doesn't have you're not aware of him having a top secret clearance certificate, and yet he is handling documents seemingly that come from crime intelligence and for which he doesn't have lawful access or authorized access. Once again, we are in that logical terrain where I say, if we accept that General Madondo has committed a crime and poses the risk that is articulated at paragraph 3, so equally too must Mr. Adams. Logic would dictate for me, unless I'm persuaded otherwise.
No, logic dictates correctly.
Yeah, correct. So we can expect IDAC to act at least on their very whistleblower on this part, on this point.
If I speak under correction.
Absolutely.
But he is arrested, I think, amongst others, for this contravention.
By IDAC?
Not by IDAC.
No, it's IDAC. Remember,
Yes.
it's IDAC who sought to arrest General Madondo.
Yes.
And this is part of the same investigation, facts flowing from the same investigation. So arresting General Madondo, equally I say,
Should
Unless
we-
there's a reason why IDAC then decides not to take action against Mr. Adams. Would there be a legitimate explanation for that?
No.
Okay. Well, we will see. Lastly, when we started last week, we've been asking about the documents that Mr. Adams says, he does say so in his section 27, that were shoved under his door at Parliament. Now, he says here, specifically those which relate to Madondo's application for security clearance marked FA1. That tells me that IDAC has those documents. They are within IDAC.
And that is where we need to look at, is the document that we said would come just before lunch, the other file. And I did send you that file, Advocate Maga.
Oh, we'll check that, but at least for
So
the
we must
moment,
check
we
it.
know that IDAC has them.
It should be in that file, yes?
No, you are answering the way. I'm saying for a fact, IDAC has FA1. The documents that were part of the documents shoved under Mr. Adams' door.
I cannot answer till I see the file, because
No.
I didn't see FA1.
The affidavit is telling you. The affidavit itself says they are attached marked FA1.
Yes, if he's given them as FA1, then they must be there.
FA1
I'm
is
saying
not,
I did not
at
see
least
them,
FA1
yes.
is not in the file that I got. The sheaf of papers you gave me doesn't have FA1. But I argue to you that on the basis of what he says at 2, Mr. Adams, I have no reason to doubt that Mr. Adams gave the investigators those documents which he marked FA1 to this particular statement. So IDAC has them. It can be a quibble, otherwise
No.
you are forced to then say Mr. Adams is misleading in that affidavit at paragraph 2, and you've got no basis as far as I'm aware to say so.
Correct.
So I know this affidavit was commissioned by Mr. Perumal on the 6th of January 2025. You said to Commissioner Baloyi you haven't seen FA1. To your knowledge, is Mr. Perumal available to assist us if we're to make an immediate inquiry regarding FA1, this annexure? And would he be able to, even if on an emergency basis, just to present himself before the commission tomorrow morning to speak to these matters?
He is unable to.
Why not?
I'm not sure if counsel did speak.
If I may assist.
Yes.
When we sought some of the documents that the evidence leaders wanted, I think the docket concerning Langlachte, we received an instruction to the effect that the person in possession of that docket is Mr. Perumal. And we sought instructions as to whether we can have a conversation with him. We were informed that he's not well. He was hospitalized during the course of the past weekend, so that we also didn't have access to him. The information I received last night was to the effect that he was discharged during the course of yesterday, and that attempts would be made to get that docket from his office, but we haven't had access to him at all. Fortunately for me, I haven't a medical certificate of any kind. So I don't know what is the actual problem with him. Hopefully during the course of lunch, one will get an idea, because part of the promise that was given to us was that that docket would probably be available around about lunchtime, because somebody was going to be dispatched to his office during the morning session today to try locate it. So we'll get some information during the course of lunch, and hopefully we'll have something to say to you after the lunch adjournment.
Thank you, Mr. Bodlani.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Bodlani. Then if I may, as has become standard request, that as you communicate with Mr. Perumal, I don't know how, this is one of the documents that we are looking for. We're looking for the FA1 to the affidavit that he commissioned on the 6th of January?
Commissioner, through you, I will take a chance at lunchtime because it is important to do so and see if we can get him on the telephone. If not, if there's a family member that does answer and is able to answer their question, is just to ask if he can just give us an indication. That much I will try.
Thank you, as I do.
Yes, in these, the vetting that is being questioned is that of General Khumalo's and General Madondo.
Yes. So our section 28 is in part remains unanswered. We don't know why you are inquiring into the vetting of the remainder of the people listed there, except of course for Brigadier Mukwele, because her statement is different. My second question is, if page 3475 suggests that former Minister of Police Becky Cele was involved in this, I take this to be the crime. Am I reading it correctly? Julie assisted and by General Masemola, who fast-tracked the clearance of General Khumalo, knowing that Khumalo did not have a top secret clearance for many years. My first question, what crime is being complained of here?
I am aware that from a certain rank, they are all supposed to have security clearances as per their own internal requirements, and that not having security clearance at a specific rank does not allow you to occupy that rank.
Yes.
Yes. And so for me, it would be, it is more a contravention of either the Intelligence Services Act and or the contravention of a standing order of the South African Police Services.
And what crime is that?
So in this paragraph,
if I may just add, remember we should keep at the back of our minds section 7, bracket 1, bracket capital A. What crime is that to bring whatever was happening here, assuming it is correct, within the mandate of IDAC?
So we are reading one statement.
Yes.
And the question you asked in council is based just only on this paragraph and what crime commits.
On the vetting issue.
On the vetting issue.
Yes, on the vetting issue.
So if a vetting is fast-tracked, what crime is committed? So if a national commissioner fast-tracks the vetting of one of his generals, what crime is committed there?
The likelihood, Commissioner Khumalo, is that in the manner in which it is done, that there could be fraud having been committed because there are certain processes that happen, and there's it can't happen in 3 days. There's checks. There's you've got to go and do background checks, financial checks. There's quite a few things that must happen. So it would mean that either something fraudulent happened, which could be the only case, but the bypassing of the vetting would be a contravention then in terms of the intelligence services. So other than the fraud, if it took place, there isn't anything else there that would bring it into the mandate.
The question, Ms. Siddler's question is, what places that within the mandate of IDAC? Even if what you're suggesting were to be shown to have happened, they fast-tracked it and they committed some fraud in the process, why would that be something that falls within your mandate in 7(1)(a)?
Just merely in terms of the fraud, nothing else.
But you do remember that when you appeared last time, you accepted that the fraud, theft, and that list, forgery and uttering, they have to be related.
Yes.
To the main,
a financial crime, or commercial crime,
a serious corruption. So why do you say that would be so in this case? Why would the fast tracking of a security clearance or vetting constitute a serious crime of corruption that falls within 7(1)(a)?
I hear you, Commissioner Baloyi. I can't take it further than the point that you've made.
Is another way to your answer a clearer way that you don't see why it would be a crime?
As it stands here, I cannot.
That comes within your mandate?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
And we know that General Khumalo is facing charges and potential arrest under case 453/06/2025, and that's pertaining to the vetting issue. Is that correct? The warrant of arrest that was suspended, it relates to the vetting issues, doesn't it?
I speak under correction. It relates to the vetting issue of General Madondo.
Of General Madondo?
Yes.
And
the fraud related to that vetting.
Not General Khumalo's vetting.
Not General Khumalo's vetting. It relates to a role he played allegedly in
General Madondo
contravention.
Thanks for that. Thank you for that clarification.
So he potentially faces an arrest for something that may not fall within the mandate of IDAC, given this last discussion that you and I had.
I cannot say that not having full sight of all the evidence, given that the allegations against General Madondo in that matter relate pertinently, from my recollection, to her having committed fraud, having misrepresented her position, and that he then knowingly accepted that fraud and then perpetuated the process further. Not the vetting.
Yeah, that's why I limited my question to our vetting discussion, that insofar as that a charge that he's facing may relate to vetting, one of the charges, if there's more than one, may relate to vetting, that potentially may be a charge which doesn't fall within the mandate of IDAC, given what we have discussed.
Yes, it would only be the fraud relating to the alleged fraudulent documents, remarks, etc., that would have been made by General Madondo.
Thank you.
Johnson, do you not sign off on the processes that lead to the warrant being issued? Does that happen behind your back? I was under the impression all along that before your investigators can seek warrants, they have to come to you for sign off.
No, Commissioner. What they do is before they sit with the prosecutors, and they then compile those applications for the warrants. They are checked by the prosecutors and by the deputy in that team.
So you play no part in that process?
Not in the warrant process. We are then briefed afterwards that, or before the warrant is executed, sorry, Chair, that before it is executed, we are then briefed that there is an impending arrest.
Thank you, Commissioners. Then on the logic of case number 453/06/25 against General Khumalo regarding General Madondo's vetting or the lack thereof, I take it IDAC is preparing to charge and arrest former Minister Bheki Cele and General Masemula for General Khumalo's own vetting shortcomings. logic dictates that that should follow?
As I indicated, I'm not vested with the cases at the moment, but that logic does.
That
follow.
logic does?
Yes. I can't argue the logic away.
It's on the logic of your answer. Would it be appropriate, though, to be investigating such and threatening to arrest Minister Bekitele, former Minister Bekitele, and General Masemula for the fact that General Khumalo was hired into crime intelligence without vetting clearance, in the absence of any fact that he in fact did not have clearance, which was an absolute prerequisite for his appointment? Is it appropriate to follow that line of investigation culminating in potential charges and arrest based on what you have at 3475?
No, unless they fall within other offences that are not here.
Well, it doesn't have other offences thus far.
Yes.
And this is a statement that was commissioned by Mr. Perumal on the 6th of January 2025, as you see from page 3746. And just like previous 3476, you remember?
3476, yes.
Yeah. Change numbers,
yes.
Numbering. Just like the previous one we had, they seem to have this perennial problem of being signed both at Pretoria and Cape Town. It's consistent, that error, through all of them. Are you able to shed some light as to how this comes about?
So, when the Commissioner of Oaths chair fills in, the Commissioner of Oaths fills in, as you see, they sign their full names, their office, the address of where they are stationed, and the agency for which they work. It is for that reason, on the right under Mr. Perumal, you will have the full names, ex officio, is a chief investigator, the investigating directorate, corruption, IDAC, Brooklyn, Pretoria, National Prosecuting Authority of South Africa, Pretoria. The part immediately under Mr. Adams, under Mr. Adams' signature, that says where they were when they took it, which was, they took it on the 6th day of January 2025, and it was done in Cape Town, with Adams having signed in Cape Town. Mr. Perumal signs as the Commissioner of Oaths, but that address that he appends is the address for where he is stationed as the Commissioner of Oaths.
No, if I may just interject, I apologize. My challenge lies in the wording above Mr. Perumal's signature. You see it reads thus, done and signed to at Pretoria on the 6th day of February, that's typed. And at the conclusion of that paragraph, it says, in my presence at Cape Town.
No, they have to explain. That I hope is just an honest error.
But it happens across all of them.
Yeah, because it's, if we work on the logic of how it's up, everything else is logical, including the date stamp, because IDAC only has a national office, which is Pretoria, but they, Councillor, can't argue that away.
Oh, I'm not attributing it to you in any way. I thought perhaps you might be able to shed some light.
No, I absolutely cannot.
If we then go to 3477, it's a preamble to a statement